Welcome in to another Running with the Timberwolves podcast on the Believe Sports Network. My name is Gabe Anderson, and I'm usually joined by Chris Emerson, but today I'm going to do it solo today on the Running with the Timberwolves podcast. But before we get going, make sure to like, share, and subscribe on YouTube and give us a 5-star rating on Spotify and or Apple. It really helps out. And if you're on Apple, make sure to give a comment. Let us know what you think of the episode. We got tons of topics that we're covering today, but we're going to start with Naz Reid on the cover of Slam magazine. He has a solo cover. It came out yesterday. I actually went to Barnes & Noble to try to find the cover, but unfortunately I was not able to find it at Barnes & Noble. They had a Slam episode, or they had a Slam magazine for the Team USA, but not one for Naz Reid, which seems disingenuous, but that's neither here nor there. By the way, you can buy the Slam cover online and get the bundle where you actually get the t-shirts of Naz Reid on the Slam cover on your t-shirt. But Naz Reid, a solo Slam cover. Congratulations to Naz Reid. And I wanted to go over some of the history of Minnesota Timberwolves player on the cover of Slam. And that would be Stephon Marbury. He's been on there 3 times. One is with a group of rookies. They like to do their new NBA rookie class. They like to do that cover. One with Garnett and then one solo in 1999. Kevin Garnett has been on the cover of Slam 4 times. One with Stephon Marbury. Of course, that iconic picture, which I'm sure you can buy in stores, that iconic picture of, I believe, Kevin Garnett leaning on Stephon Marbury. Love and Rubio, Kevin Love and Ricky Rubio shared a cover once of Slam. Wiggins has been on the cover of Slams twice, which one of them was with a group of rookies. Karl Anthony Towns was on the cover of Slam 3 times. 1 time with Booker and D'Lo and 2 with himself. And then Edwards has been on the cover of Slam twice. And of course, one of them was the iconic dunk over John Collins on the cover of Slam. I'd love to get that, if possible, in my collection. But the question is, does it matter? Does it matter to have yourself on the cover of Slam or Sports Illustrated? I didn't even mention all the Sports Illustrated that Kevin Garnett has been in the past. And I know there was that one where it was Cat and Kevin Garnett when he came back. Does it matter to be on the cover of Slam? And I really think it does. I mean, to be the featured athletes in a league full of athletes, to hone in on the big man, on the 6th man of the year on your team, on a guy who's not even making a huge contract, to hone in on him and you are the cover guy for the entire league right now. I think that is pretty significant. Now, obviously, some of these examples didn't work out like they thought. Love and Rubio was going to be this dynamic duo. That obviously didn't work out too well. And they thought that, of course, the LeBron comparisons with and Andrew Wiggins were out there, which obviously didn't work out either. But congratulations to Naz Reid. You can get it at slam.com now, and you get the bundle with the t-shirt. So now what I want to talk about is a little bit of Team USA, Ant and Rudy Gobert. They both kind of got benched in the semifinal game. Rudy Gobert only played 5 minutes, I think, and played the same. And let's be honest, Ant was honestly not that good in the minutes that he did play. He had 2 quick turnovers. Also, he had some time where he went for the ball to try to get a steal, which prompted the Serbs to get a wide open 3. That happened about twice with Ant, and I think that's why he didn't see the floor. Also, it was a close game as well. But, I mean, apples to oranges, Tyrese Halliburton and Jason Tatum, who were both in the Eastern Conference Finals last year, didn't even see the floor today. So, I mean, it's not too much of a surprise that, just like in the NBA, the experienced players usually get the more playing time once you get to the later rounds. The bench definitely shortens a little bit, and that's what we saw for Team USA. But thank God for Steph Curry. 36 points today. I think he hit 7 or 8 threes. Just a huge performance out of him. When they needed it most, the Serbs had us on the ropes, and now Team USA will play in the championship game Rudy Gobert and the French national team, which unfortunately it has come out that Rudy Gobert may have a finger injury, which I'm a little worried about, but I'm not worried that they're not giving him too much time. I think he played only 5 minutes in their last game. I'm not too worried about that because we've seen what Rudy Gobert can do on this team. I don't really care what kind of fit he is with Team France. In fact, I want them to lose because obviously I'm an American and rooting for Team USA. We know what kind of a matchup, what kind of a player Rudy Gobert is with Team USA, or excuse me, with the Minnesota Timberwolves. So we know what he brings to the table. I honestly couldn't care less what he does for Team France as long as he plays the way he does here. Now, I know obviously he wants to put on a big performance for Team France. Rudy Gobert is not getting any younger. This could be potentially his last chance with Team France, but I'm not worried at all about Team France benching him. The coach said it had to do with matchups, which, I mean, it definitely could be about the matchups, could be about the hurt finger, and it could be basically a moshling of a ton of things. But like I said, not worried about Rudy Gobert not playing, not worried whatsoever. And we have a comment here from Dre, who's listening in. He says that Edwards has been great. This was his first bad game, had 26 points on 11 of 15 shooting against Puerto Rico. Before the game, he was averaging 16.8 points. Well, thanks for bringing the stats, Dre. Appreciate it. But yeah, I mean, yeah, Ant has been great. But like you said, or like I said earlier, once we get deeper into Team USA, I don't know how much he's going to play in the championship game unless it's a blowout. If it's a close game, I could see Steve Kerr going with the tried and true lineup that he's had, basically the veterans going forward, like, for example, Curry or Embiid or LeBron. Obviously, LeBron is definitely going to be on the court unless it's a blowout at the end there, but not worried about the benching of Ant and Rudy Gobert. Not too worried whatsoever on that one. Just going to play it up to the European game, or not the European game, but the world game is different than the NBA game. Like, for example, like I said, Tatum didn't play a single minute. Halliburton didn't play a single minute. Not too worried there. Now, what we got to talk about is once we get back to normal NBA playing, which I know they released the preseason schedule for the Wolves, still looking for the full still looking for a full regular season schedule for the Timberwolves. But once we get to the regular season, I think we could be looking at an MVP season from Anthony Edwards. And I want to go back from this quote that he had 3 years ago. He said, I want to be an all-star. He's done that. I want to go deep in the playoffs, definitely past the first round. He's done that. In 5 years, I want to be the face of the league and have a couple MVPs. Well, I feel like he is on track to do that. If he can lead this team to a championship or somewhere in between there, or maybe a number one seed, I could totally see him bringing home the MVP this season. And man, just the confidence of this kid is astounding. It's really astounding to see someone who just has all the confidence in the world, can come out and say, hey, I want to be the MVP of this league. I want to be the best. And some guys say that. Obviously, they're going to say, we want to be the best. But you believe it with Anthony Edwards. His swagger and his just his whole presence on the court and off the court makes you believe this kid thinks he's the best and he's going to push himself to be the best. Love what you see out of Anthony Edwards. I think he's got to avoid the games where the off nights where he only scores like 9 points and goes and has like 5 assists. He's got to avoid the off nights. He needs to bring it every single night that he goes out on the court. And I'm not saying he doesn't bring it. He does in other ways. He does it with assists and he does it with defense. But I think stat-wise, to win an MVP, he's got to do that on a night-in, night-out basis because he definitely has some off nights. And what's been great about Anthony Edwards is every time he goes down, it seems like he gets up. It seems like he doesn't has any sustained injury for a long period of time. Like, for example, he's only missed 6 games in the last 2 seasons, 6 regular season games, which is something astounding that our former MVP face of the franchise, Kevin Garnett, did as well. From 1999 to 2005, Kevin Garnett only missed 2 regular season games, which is just astounding. With how hard he played and the kind of intensity he brought to the game, to only miss 2 regular season games is really impressive. And maybe Anthony Edwards is following in that footsteps right behind him. Of course, Kevin Garnett won the MVP in the 2003-2004 season. We went to the Western Conference Finals. Video on that coming later. And the one more thing that I wanted to touch on, actually, before we get to that, the Team USA championship game, or gold medal game, I should say, between Team USA and France. What an opportunity for Victor Wembanyama to really put his stamp. Now, I know he put his stamp on the league last year, but if you're able to say that I beat Team USA as a second-year player in the league, or not even yet, not in between your first and second year, if you can go out there and get the win over LeBron and Curry and Embiid and Booker, if you could go out there and get a win for your national team and you are basically the top dog on that team, that would be a huge step forward for Victor Wembanyama. And just talk about the bragging rights. That would really, really, really put him on the map if he's not already on the map. But let's go on to our last story here. It was reported by Darren Wolfson, or Doogie Wolfson, that the Wolves were never really in on Tyus Jones. He wasn't coming here to be a backup. The Wolves are not demoting Mike Conley, so there were never really any sort of talks between Tyus Jones and the Wolves, which makes sense, it makes a lot of sense for Wolves fans to want Tyus Jones here. It seems like a perfect fit. Yes, he took a veteran minimum to go to the Phoenix Suns, where he could have taken more. He said he got more offers elsewhere for more money, but he just said the fit was better with the Suns. And that's an interesting point by Doogie Wolfson. If you're not going to give Tyus Jones a starting spot, which is basically, since he went to the Wizards, basically where he's been all his career, other than with the Wolves and obviously behind Ja Morant, which with Ja Morant, if you look at the statistics, the Grizzlies were actually pretty good. Obviously not this year, but the year with Tyus without Ja Morant, they actually had a pretty good run without him in the games where he was gone. But if you're not going to give him a starting spot, Wolves fans, as nice it would be to bring home the Apple Valley product, to bring him home, it's just not realistic for him to take less money for a lesser role. The only thing would be the hometown discount. I have been saying for a long time that the more plausible option, although it looks like he's going to start this year, or probably not start, but be behind Chris Paul, is Trey Jones. I always thought that he would be a better pickup, not necessarily a better pickup, but a more plausible pickup for this team. Of course, he's on the San Antonio Spurs, but I don't think, going back and thinking about it, I don't think we had a realistic shot at Tyus Jones. And hey, more power to them. The Suns got what they need, was a backup point guard, or a starting point guard, I should say, and they went out and got him. So it sounds like the Suns, they're going to give their experiment one more try. They're just going to get Booker and Durant back from Team USA. They're going to get them back and run it back, see if they can win. And I've seen projections where the Wolves are the 3 or 4 seed and the Suns are the 5 or 6. So we may see them again in the playoffs, but anything can happen in this Western Conference that is so stacked and so could go anywhere. Like I was just talking about Memphis. Memphis could be a player next year. You have the Houston Rockets who are in the up and up. Basically, the entire league you have. Now, I'm not saying the Spurs are going to be great, but they upgraded with the likes of Chris Paul. Who knows? Who knows with young Jalen Green, what they can do. The West is going to be interesting to watch this year. And that's why I was so impressed by the Wolves with such a good Western Conference this past season, that they were able to secure the 3 seed and basically be a game away from securing the number 1 seed. But that's neither here nor there. I think I'm going to wrap it up there. Thanks so much for listening, guys. We're going to be back with another episode early next week. Make sure to like, share, and subscribe on YouTube, and give us a 5-star rating on Spotify and or Apple. And as always, go Wolves.